Good morning. My name is Kirti Patel, and I'm a Customer Success Manager here at Salesforce.com. Welcome to today's session on cleaner data, higher adoption, and better leads. We've got two great speakers ready to share their experiences around data quality. And we're also going to be raffling away 2 gifts. So if you haven't won anything at the expo, here's your last chance. And my colleague Nate is going to be collecting business cards back there. So we're giving away a flip video camera as well as a fleece. So if you're planning to stick around San Francisco this weekend, you're going to need this fleece. So, so with that, I couldn't let you leave the conference without seeing this slide one more time. So here you go. Here's our safe harbor statement. We have a great lineup for you today. Paul Young has joined us from Commvault, and he's going to be sharing some do's and don'ts when it comes to data quality. Deb Weller is here from Isilon Systems, and she undertook a lead management project earlier this year, and so she's going to be sharing some insight around that. I'm going to be sharing some best practices around data quality. We'll go through some key takeaways, leave a little bit of time for Q&A as well as the raffle a little bit later. So we all know data quality is important, and I'm guessing that you think it's important too because you're here on a Friday morning after 2 long days at Dreamforce and not nursing your hangover after last night's party. We know it can affect adoption. We know it could lead to misuse of your marketing dollars. But judging from the keynote customers that we had speaking with Mark, we know that it also impacts the decisions that your company makes. And good data always leads to good business decisions. Some analysts say that bad data actually is one of the top 3 reasons why your CRM investment fails. And we don't want you to be one of those customers. So that's why we've invited Paul Young to share his experiences around data quality. So welcome, Paul.
Thank you very much, Gertie.
I'm not sure if this is working.
What's that?
I don't know if it's working, though.
Okay. We'll find out if this is working. Maybe not. It's all right. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. So I want to thank everybody for being here because I know, as Curdy mentioned, this is Friday. It's the end of the conference. You're all a bit burned out. But the good news is, anybody here flying Continental? Back Continental out of here? If you are, just sit tight because we've been delayed again. My flight leaves, I think, Tuesday now. So a quick note on who Commvault is, just so I can justify this on my business expenses. We produce backup recovery data management software for medium to large size enterprises. We help you protect your investments so one day you don't have to say, yeah, I don't know where that data went. We've got a pretty complex environment. We have 600 plus users spread out on every continent except Antarctica, workflows, validation rules, add-ons, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, the last one there, I don't know how that got in there about Castro Street. But what I'm going to show you today are some of the things that can really lead to your demise. Now, who in here is part of marketing or sales? Okay. Who in here is part of the technical arm of your company? Okay. So we're going to aim a little bit more for the marketing side. You technical folks, go back to checking your BlackBerries. This is your data. This actually is a photograph of somebody's house, which I find incredibly skeevy, but this is what you want your data to look like. Something out of Leave It to Beaver. Data needs to be clean, organized, normalized. You folks in marketing, normalized means when you ask me, Paul, how many left-handed people in Michigan are named Harry, I can tell you with some degree of certainty. That's what normalized means, and that's what we're going to talk about today. First of all, why does it really matter? Okay, take a look at this. Abraham was the father of Isaac, Isaac the father of Jacob, and so on. those of you who know me, the few of you in here that do, know that I went to seminary. So that's why something like this is near and dear to my heart. The point of this is genealogy. One thing leads to another. Clean data leads to higher adoption, better leads, better successes. Bad data, not so much. That's why it's important. Sure death comes when people work outside your system. So one of the easiest ways to frustrate users is to give them inconsistent results. Inconsistencies bother the human mind. For instance, walking down these steps for a second, this. When the fire alarm goes off, that really bugs me, I got to tell you folks. That is not what you want to see in your CRM system. Once you lose the trust of your users, it is very difficult to get it back. Once you are unfaithful in a relationship, it is very difficult to get trust back, whether that relationship is dating, marriage, or a CRM system. First of all, what is good, clean data? If I say to the gentleman right here, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite color? Which one's right? I don't know, because I don't have a definition of what's the favorite color, what's a good color. You need to define what clean data is. Maybe that means 70% of the addresses are spot on. Maybe it means 100% of the addresses are spot on. Good luck with that. But you need to know what clean data is. Now, you can keep your data clean a number of different ways. Sticks. Sticks are the easiest way. So if the gentleman in the back running the sound system decides to put the wrong data in the system, there's a penalty. That's a stick. Sticks can be effective, but they're also difficult to implement because we don't have a lot of sticks. There are carrots. You can reward people. You can give away flip phones. You can give away Snuggies. You can take their picture to put on a wall of heroes. How's it going? But the best thing to do is to make it easier to do what's right than what's wrong. So when driving down the highway here in California, you know all those little bumpy things? That's because when you go across a lane, you feel it going. It's easier to stay in your lane and do the right thing. Make your system like that. The second one in red. This is the biggest one. Get management backing. Anybody in here director level? Anybody? Anybody here VP level? Anybody C level? Okay, I got some resumes in the back. Let's talk afterwards. Those are the people that you need backing from. If you don't have that backing, you're dead in the water. Because you, as a marketing droid, me as a tech droid, when I say to the guy who's pulling in $20 million a quarter, you're not doing it right, they're going to say, tell you what, come over here, I'll show you something else I'm not doing right. You need to be able to turn to your VP and say, I need your backing. I need it to come out under your signature, and you tell them it's important. Finally, to keep your data clean, do it automagically. It's the best choice, but it's difficult. The less interaction from humans, the better life is. And that's on a lot of different levels. Think about that for a second. It needs to be ongoing. This is not a once and done. If I clean the data today, there are always going to be people like you in the second row making it dirty again. It's okay, I work with her. She has to put up with this. It's ongoing. You can use programming, you can use third-party tools, a lot of different things you can do. Now, people do what they want to do. The carrots is a good way to do it. Hand out prizes, you can use sticks, whatever you like. One of the easiest ways, use Salesforce reports. There are data quality dashboards in there. Evil hates the light. Shine the light of the reports on the evil, on the dirty data. Look for variations. Look for patterns. Look for mass imports. Mass imports are not your friend. If you didn't do them and you didn't authorize them, they're probably wrong. Look for them with the reports. Manage your data with SQL. Anyone in here know how to write SQL? That's pretty good. I really didn't expect that many. Okay? It's fantastic. It's incredibly powerful. It's not that difficult. If I can learn it, you can learn it. But if you're in the marketing department, buddy up with the guy in IT, the one who doesn't have a lot of friends, may not smell quite so fresh. Buddy up with him. He knows SQL. Explain your problem to her or him. Don't tell them how to solve it, but explain it to them. If I say, where's Byron, the sound man back there? Can you wave at me? There you are. If I said to you, I think maybe the gain, the amplitude is a little bit off on here. Can you, he would just roll his eyes. But if I say, I don't think they can hear me, it's a little bit muffled, like that, he's going to adjust it. Buddy up to the people that know how to fix your problems. In the appendix to this presentation that you'll receive, you've got some examples of SQL that may help. Leverage the App Exchange. Out front of this building, one of Salesforce's competitors is hyping their product. They don't have an App Exchange. It's dead in the water to me. I don't feel like paying a lot of money or writing my own. Leverage the App Exchange. Demand Tools is an inexpensive solution that can do wonderful things for data quality. If you're not technical, write down Demand Tools, Mark Esdale, get it to one of your technical people. Last but not least, in tools, validation rules. Validation rules are a wonderful thing. So if I go here and I put a rope across here, most of us know the rope means don't come up here. Validation rules are like that. If I have a validation rule that prevents me from putting CAN for Canada, it changes it to CA, or even maybe writes out Canada, I've just prevented a piece of dirty data from entering. No effort. Validation rules can be tricky to write. Get your administrator to help you. If she can't do it, they can contact Salesforce. They can help you. Your success manager can help you get in touch with the right person. All right. Pigs in my data? It is more possible than you think. So I want to talk about pigs for just a second as I wrap up my portion. Now, I grew up in southern Missouri, near West Plains, Missouri. Does anyone know where West Plains is? Really? I am so excited. West Plains had out front of it, feeder pig capital of the world. We were very into pigs. Now, pigs, you got Pigpen on Charlie Brown, you got, Pigsty. Pigs are not dirty animals. If you give them the opportunity, they will take baths, they will roll in the dust and clean themselves off. They're very clean. But if you crowd them together, if you don't give them the facilities, if you don't give them the opportunity, they are filthy. They stink. They're like pigs. Your data is the same way. This is your data if you don't give the users the direction they need, if you don't define your data, if you don't have support of your VP and C-level people, if you don't do what's right, that's your data. Don't be like that. Nobody likes that. Just in case you were checking your BlackBerries, there's what we just said. It's not rocket science. You're never going to get it perfectly. It just can't be done. So long as there's human interaction, your data will never be clean 100%. But you can make it better. Okay. These are your users. You are the cowboys, or as we say now in the 21st century, cow persons. Herd your users. They want to do what's right. They want to stay on the path. They don't want to stampede. Help them. Help them know what clean data is. Help them take the right choices. Your users are looking to you for leadership. Remember this. Career longevity is linked to better leads, better data. If your data is bad, it's going to find you out. You're going to end up on Monster.com again. define it. Clean data is 80% of what's needed for good leads and strong adoption. See the little asterisk? That's because I pulled the number right out of the air, but it's probably right. Your users are like howler monkeys. Make them want to run into the net. Good should be easier than evil. Like zombies. Do you like this? We've gone from pigs to cattle to howler monkeys to zombies. Like zombies, you need processes that run without human intervention. I'll pretty much leave you with that. It's one of your end users. And now they're going to be very happy. I'm going to sit down. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul, for that lesson in data quality and zoology 101, too. So next we have Deb Weller from Isilon Systems. Deb actually got certified as a developer, as a Salesforce developer as well. So please congratulate her and welcome her.
Good job.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for staying for Friday for our presentation. I'm Deb Weller, Enterprise Apps Manager with Isilon Systems. Came down from Seattle. A little bit about my company. We make clustered storage appliances for scale-out NAS. So if you have a lot of unstructured file data, big things like audio, video, you need to serve up quickly, but you don't know how much you're going to need. You might want to expand your storage as you go. We can help you with that. You can cluster our appliances together. We are up in Seattle, Washington, and we've got people all over the world in 8 different countries, about 250 users of Salesforce, and we've been using it since 2002. We use it for sales, customer support, marketing, field services, pretty much everything except for engineering. Now, we've been using it since 2002. I got there in 2006. The implementation had grown rather organically. That's a kind word. Kind of a mess. It turns out that we weren't in sync with our leads and our sales. So we needed to figure out how to get the right data in the hands of the salespeople so people could buy lots of our appliances. So we undertook a major project this year, 2009, to clean that up, and I'd like to tell you about it. It talks a lot about what Paul's already told you about. We kind of put that into practice. So yes. Has anybody had this situation? The marketing team and the sales team are out of sync. Anyone? Yeah, that's what I thought. There's a lot of finger pointing. We're giving you leads. You're not following up on the leads. You're not giving us good leads. What is a lead? You know, can we all get on the same page with what a lead is? So we got together, decided we needed to clean up our existing data. We had a bunch of contact and lead data that was bad. We needed to dedupe it. We needed to define what a good lead was and develop methods to keep getting the good data into our system going forward. We wanted to figure out a good way, like Paul was talking about, zombie processes make it really easy. We're not going to pass the lead to sales until it's qualified and the salesperson is going to work on it. So how can we make that happen automatically? How can they get an alert right when they need to? If the leads aren't quite ready, we wanted to nurture them, keep telling them about Isilon, how we can help them as they're growing. We want our name to be on the forefront when they're thinking about storage. And then how can we report on all of this so we can show the executives we got great leads, the campaigns that worked were these, let's put more marketing dollars here. And if I press the right key, perfect. So first off, let's go and dedupe our leads and contacts. Much easier said than done when you have 220,000 leads. There were a lot of ones we could knock off right off the bat. So who has Bill Gates in their database? Mickey Mouse? Joe Blow? There's a lot of those. You can run some reports and get some of the really common dummy names. NA, very popular. No, you can't have my email, very popular. Let's strip those out, put in some places to make sure we have reports going forward if we're getting those from our lead forms, or we might even, on our lead forms, decide to put in some traps so that we don't get those names in to start with. We used some tools off the App Exchange to merge the data. We also did the SQL queries that Paul was talking about, to identify duplicates by email address. Email address is probably the best we can do for duplicates. You don't really always want to go off of name. We also deduped our contacts by email address, and we found that sometimes it's okay to have duplicate email addresses in there. Usually for a contact, it's somebody that we've already sold to and they're on a support plan. The support plan user wants to have the same email address for everyone so that this whole support team, it's like support@company.com. So we did, we put a known duplicate in there so that we exclude those from our reporting for the ones that are there. So after cleaning that up, how do we get good ones in? So we defined what we wanted to see in the inbound leads. What are the most important fields? And for the marketing people out there, you can't say all of them. It doesn't work. We can't put that many on the web forms. We can't get that all the time from the sources we're getting them from. So what are the key ones? We need to know where they came from. First name, last name, a contact, whether it's phone or email, preferably email, so we can do all the free email marketing. And once we've defined that, you have some standards for if a lead list comes in and you don't have where it came from or it doesn't have a first name, it gets kicked back to the person to fill in or clean up. It's a little hard at first. People don't like to say you can't put their leads in. They also don't like it when you can't put them in when they come in a very odd form. So we've got some Excel files. People know what we're expecting. We need columns mapped to a certain way. And we've trained several users on how to do the lead import wizard. If you aren't using that now, it's good in the right hands. So I wouldn't give it to everyone, as Paul was mentioning, but definitely it will let you attach them to campaigns, map the fields around, and get the leads in nicely. We also, on our inbound forms, we leverage a lot of hidden fields. So, of course, we're not going to ask the user when they come to the website, what's your source detail? They're not going to know. But we'll embed that in the web to lead form. And we are using Eloqua, which I would recommend you check out if you're interested in this, to do some lead scoring and lead nurturing before it actually goes into Salesforce. So that was a big part of our implementation this year. We do our marketing mailings from there, and we do some nurturing campaigns. Okay, so around the lead scoring, which is the Eloqua piece, we have a numbering system for explicit and implicit. Explicit represents something that you tell me. You came to my website and you said, I'm in this industry, or my name is Sue. Implicit is more of the sneaky stuff. So we noticed that you opened the email that we sent you and you clicked through the image, or you downloaded a white paper. We are tracking that. It's a little big brothery, but it helps us score the leads. And we also match based on targeted profile and are they interested in buying right now. So there can be highs and lows there. There's a numeric score assigned and tracked in Salesforce. And then once you get the scoring there, you can use workflows to automate your processes when things happen with the different scores. Yeah, like lead scores are used to determine when to transfer a lead to sales. I put a little example up of a workflow real detail here. I apologize if you don't write the workflow rules or the formulas, but it's pretty easy to follow. This just says if a lead is updated and the implicit score jumps by more than 30 points, trigger the workflow rule, which is going to send an email to our inside sales group. So we've got a bunch of rules like that. When things happen, people get notified right away, and they can get on the phone and call. I see you were on their website. You were downloading the white paper. Basically, it looks hot, so let's get the sales guys engaged. What we learned when we went back to review our processes was Salesforce builds in a lot of cool functionality that we weren't taking advantage of. One of them is the conversion process. When you convert a lead to an account, an opportunity, and a contact, any one of those three. It does a lot of things automatically for you. In the help, it'll show you exactly which fields from the lead go to which fields in the account or in the opportunity. This is great. We weren't leveraging that. We were a little bit scattered. Once you know where it's going, then you can report on the different items once they've been converted. So if you haven't looked at that, definitely check out the help. We use some hidden formula fields because when you are mapping a custom field to either the account opportunity or contact record, you can only map it to one place. So we use a couple of hidden fields so we can map it to more than one of those objects. A little hard to follow, but we just take the lead source detail, for example, in the top yellow part there, take what the value is, map it to another field called hidden, and use that second field to map to a separate object when it converts. It might be helpful to see what the lead source detail was on the contact record and on the account, not just on the account. So there's a lot of good sneaky ways to do things without doing any programming except for possibly writing a little formula. And I've got notes about this in the presentation. The other thing we weren't leveraging well was campaigns. So the campaign functionality in Salesforce is fabulous, and the campaign hierarchy functionality is even better. We didn't even have hierarchies turned on. So you can organize your campaigns with parent and child relationships and then get reports that blow through all of them. Right on the screen, you can see and click and view your parent campaign and all the child campaigns and how they roll up. So if you're willing to put in your spend and what you estimate your budget to be, it will give you lots of different reports. So use the tools that Salesforce has given you. This is another great example. Reporting analysis, I know Paul talked about this. There are some fabulous AppExchange dashboards out there for free, not just even for marketing or data quality. There's for sales, service and support, everything. I didn't want to build all this myself, but I can download the things from the AppExchange, tweak it to match my business, and I look like a hero. This is good. Everyone loves it. You can put these on people's home pages. You can have them delivered automatically to the executives that don't even want to log in. It's great. Reporting and analysis, even more. You can use the reports to highlight missing information. You can also do a leaderboard for people that are importing or entering leads as to which ones are most correct. Get a little competition going for who can keep the data best. You can subscribe users to these reports so they'll get emailed on a nightly basis or a weekly basis to track what they've put in and go back and fix it. You could even queue up an activity for them to go back and fix it, perhaps a little task that will remind them. And the picture at the bottom here, the profile complete, is a formula done with the Google Charts API, which I put some notes for in the presentation. You can make a formula field that goes out to Google and does a fabulous little graphic you can put anywhere within the Salesforce page layouts. This is just, I'm on a lead. Its profile is almost complete. It's missing a couple of fields, so we've just given number weightings to the different fields we want. At a glance, they can look at that and say, it's missing a little bit. If it's red, it might not be a good lead. Finally, mine your disqualified leads. We would disqualify leads and they would just sit there. Did we want to delete them? Not really, because we had worked to get them. If they came in again, they might still be disqualified. That's not always the case. They might not have been qualified to buy at that time. They might be qualified to buy now. Maybe their business is growing and they need more storage. Maybe they just need to learn a little bit more about iSalon. So we've taken the disqualified leads that are obviously not junk, put them into drip and marketing campaigns using Eloqua, and we continue to monitor those. And those workflow rules I told you about kick in if they indicate new interest, and you can find hopefully, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Sales guys always like that. So I'm pretty much going to tell you exactly what Paul told you. Identify the key fields you want to have populated and document them. Get everyone on the same page so you're tracking the same things. Develop scoring strategy so you can quantify the score. You can assign a numeric value to it. You can track it as it changes over time. When you have leads that convert into opportunities, go back and look at where those leads came from. If I'm getting my best opportunities in sales from a certain campaign or a certain type of campaign, let's put more money into that. I love formulas. Formulas are great, and using the reports to highlight the data that is missing or inconsistent. And really, I'm lazy. I will go and download the stuff from the App Exchange all day before writing it myself. You can too. You don't have to tell anyone that. And no one has to know, but you can use the ones that are already out there to help you manage your processes. So thank you.
Good job.
Thanks, Deb, for that insight. I wanted to introduce myself again as a Customer Success Manager here at Salesforce. As part of my role, I work with customers to share best practices, help them with their user adoption, and really help them leverage all the different parts of the Salesforce functionality. I think to really have a conversation, to start a conversation about data quality, you really need to understand your data. Your data could be inaccurate, and Deb talked about this. You know, the Bill Gates, the Mickey Mouse, the Oprah Winfreys in your data. Some of it is going to be accurate and some of it isn't. Is your data current? People are switching jobs, roles, titles, corporate addresses may be changing. How current is the data that you have in your application? And then the third question you might want to ask yourself is how complete your data is. Do you have enough information about that lead or that contact to actually do business with them? Without an email address, how is your marketing team going to be? How is your marketing team going to be able to send them email newsletters? Earlier, I mentioned how bad data can affect your user adoption, can affect your marketing dollars. But I want to share a story about how bad data can actually impact your corporate image. And this story is called Dear Rich Bastard. So I thought it would be a good one to share and something that you could take out of the conference and always remember that data quality does matter. This is a story about that happened about 10 years ago, and it was a bank in the UK that was launching a new line of service to their high net worth customers. So the millionaires, these British millionaires on their yachts and drinking champagne, they decided to run a marketing campaign in which they put the first and last name, Rich Bastard. They ended up executing this direct mailing campaign, and the salutation, of course, read, "Dear Rich Bastard, welcome to this new line of service." As you can imagine, this was pretty embarrassing for this bank. They had to issue an apology. Of course, these are the individuals that they definitely want to have business from. And as a customer, if you're working with a bank that's not even going to get your name right, I don't know if I'd want to trust my money with them. So the moral of the story is your data does matter. The Bill Gates, the Mickey Mouse, the rich bastards in your data could come back and haunt you. One way you can use some of the native Salesforce functionality and keep your data current is use the stay in touch emails. What the stay in touch emails allow you to do is send a quick update to one of your contacts asking if the information that you have on record is correct. If it's correct, the end customer can simply click accept. But if there are any changes, they can update that information and send that back to you and have that updated within Salesforce. So as part of your training process with your new users or the ongoing training that you conduct with your users, it might be a good idea to mention the stay in touch emails. I'm sure you have gotten a chance to go out to the expo and visit a lot of our App Exchange partners. Some of them, like CRM Fusion that Paul mentioned with demand tools, Ringlead, Hoovers, OneSource. There's a lot of App Exchange partners out there to help you cleanse your data. So 2009 has been an eventful year. Michael Jackson passed away. We had the whole Balloon Boy incident. President Obama took office. But in addition to that, we also added several new data cleansing apps to the App Exchange. And some of these include the Dupe Eliminator, the Mass Update Wizard, the Search First, Then Create, as well as the Duplicate Contact Blocker. The great thing about all of these is that they're free. Anything that you see on the App Exchange with this Force.com Labs logo will be free and will be really easy for you to test out. I just wanted to go into a couple of these applications. The Dupe Eliminator is a great tool for you to check whether you have duplicate contacts or records. It works with standard and custom objects, and it also works with our Professional Edition. One way that you can use this is if you've got multiple variations of the same contact. You don't want your reps to be calling the same contact 3 different times. You also don't want to be sending direct mailings to the same contact because that's going to end up being a lot more costly for your organization. Another great application is the Mass Update Wizard. And what this allows you to do is update your records based on the changing needs of your business. You may want to target, segment some of your customers as your top tier customers, and this will allow you to update the field on those records with a couple of clicks. And again, it's free. Once your data is clean, you also want to think about how complete it is. And this is something that I think administrators struggle with all the time. You don't want to make every single field on a page required because you're going to end up with bad data. People are just going to enter anything just to get to the next level and be able to save that record. But at the same time, you want to have enough information so that you could actually make good decisions around that. One example of this would be having the title of an individual that you're working with. If you're planning to do an executive luncheon next month, it'd be important to pull a report on all the executives executive leads that you have and invite them to that luncheon. One way you can get creative with the native Salesforce functionality is use workflow rules. So you may not want title to be a required field initially, but if that title is left blank, why not send an alert to your rep asking them to fill it out a couple days later, and just as a reminder. Our speakers mentioned a couple of data completeness tools, ways for you to analyze how complete your data is. A couple of them that I wanted to highlight today are the free data quality analysis dashboard, which is available on the App Exchange and is part of the Force.com Labs. Informatica actually has another data quality analysis tool as well, and that one is free. And then just this year, there was another application called Percent Complete that allows you to get some of that same information. Finally, help your data help you. So in this example, you can use some of the formula fields to decide what information that you have about a lead and help you score that information. In this example, if you know the decision maker and if that individual has the budget, you can roll that into a formula and total that up to help you qualify that lead a little bit better. Hopefully you've gotten a chance to write down a few notes and get some takeaways and homework for this weekend to help with your data quality. But just a couple of things to remind you why it's important. Clean data is really going to lead to less frustration with your users and higher adoption. We don't want you to be one of those companies that fails because of data quality, because it's an easy thing to fix. When in doubt, have this 3-step process: cleanse, complete, and analyze. Get creative with the native Salesforce functionality. There's a lot out there that if you just work with, like the validation rules and the workflow, that can help you get the data that you're looking for. Use some of the partner tools that have been highlighted in the presentation and that you've met here at the expo. And even if you just want to laugh about the story, don't forget Dear Rich Bastard. I just want to remind you that your feedback is really important. We've got the survey kiosks, I believe, upstairs here as well as in Moscone South. So if you can fill out feedback on today's session, that would be really helpful. And you could also log into your attendee portal after the session and fill out your feedback there too. So thank you. So we have a little bit of time for Q&A, and then also the raffle. So, okay. So if you haven't submitted your business card already, Nate has, we are giving away a flip video camera. Oh yeah, actually we have a mic up there if you can, thank you. I think it's on. Yeah.
Question on the duplication of entries. We have the same owners of people that consistently don't check, even though the search feature is there. They are constantly putting in the same records to the same people. How does the actual de-duplication apps prevent them from putting in the same records?
The search first, then create application?
I mean, it's already a feature in Salesforce.
Mm-hmm.
They never actually use it.
Oh.
So how do the apps, is it a backup to the search feature?
I believe that one is.
The dupe blocker, that's how it works. If you try to save it, it will go and do the search based on how you configure it, and then pop up the records that would look like the same record. So I know that free dupe blocker one, and there's a couple other ones there. That's what it's to let them not make them have to do the search, not let them just click through.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just to add on to that, sometimes there are things that can't be addressed programmatically. If it is just one or two chronic offenders, that's where having management support can really help. Sometimes a stern talking to or a good beating.
Sort of a wall of shame leaderboard as well.
Yeah.
That's always good.
Exactly.
Thanks. Deb, I had a question for you regarding Alpha and integration with Salesforce. My company has been using Alpha for a couple of years now, and we're just getting ready to do a Salesforce implementation.
Oh, great.
Really exciting. So on the marketing side, in terms of our implementation, I think that integration with Alpha is sort of an afterthought. And so I'm wondering if you have any recommendations for how we do integrate Alpha, and so that I can start thinking about that in terms of how to position it and get that done.
Sure, a little bit, and I'd be happy to talk to you afterwards as well. We did it pretty small. We were really focused on the lead scoring and the nurturing and the drip and the marketing campaigns out of Eloqua, and then bringing this qualified leads into Salesforce. So there's just one touch there. We used a great partner that had a lot of experience and helped us there. It's really about trying to define what your end result you want to be, but there are so many touch points to Salesforce that Eloqua can give you, and it's really all about working with the partner to help you get it where you want. So I'm happy to talk to you about how we do this. We used Rubicon. They're in Portland. So, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll touch base.
Hello, my question is regarding the SQL tools and using it for cleansing and maybe some analysis. The question more specifically is what kind of tools have you guys been using, and do you use different grades of tools for different users?
Sure. There are two different ways that we do it. We use the CRM Fusion demand tools, which think of SQL with a much more friendly front end with a GUI on it. It's fantastic. In fact, sitting right here in the audience in the second row is the individual at Commvault who uses demand tools the most, and you may want to talk to her afterwards. SQL itself is incredibly powerful, as you're probably aware, but it can be somewhat difficult to use, and you really have the potential for returning the wrong data. Think Cartesian joins. But once you get used to that, you can find where the problems are, You can then use Data Loader to fix the problems, since using SQL can be pretty slow with the 2,000 records per API call. That said, the key to using SQL for this, and forgive me, marketing track folk, but you need to download that database and do it locally. If you try and do it through the API, you'll lose your mind.
We also use an App Exchange product called dbAmp, which syncs your Salesforce database down to a local SQL server on a schedule. So it does it once a night and then refreshes every hour. So we have a local queryable database we originally did it to do some integrations with our ERP system, but we've used it a lot for data cleansing. And then you've got the IDs that Salesforce needs. You can fix the records, find the duplicates, merge them, and put them back up using that.
And just one quick thought, too, on like dbAmp and all these others, because it's a fantastic tool. Most of these things, they're made to be used in skilled hands. They don't have an undo. There's no, are you sure you want to delete your database? Just be careful.
To that respect, any suggested SQL tools for a marketing user or more of a business user that you guys have experienced?
What's that?
Toad. She's right. Toad's great. The other, if you're bringing them down to a local SQL server, there's some SQL report builder tools you can use as well that are a more friendly interface to that. And then the O'Reilly books have great, the O'Reilly SQL cookbooks have great code in them.
Yeah, I'm just making good-natured fun. If you guys in marketing are technical, the SQL is not difficult. I'm not that bright, and I learned much of it. Yeah, but use those.
Thank you very much.
We work with a population that moves our customer database that moves every 2 to 3 years. At least half of our customers are moving. So finding them and staying in touch with them can be really daunting. This mass update wizard, is that designed to be able to use that on mass really for your entire database, where we'd be able to send that out? Because I'm looking at the request update and thinking, well, geez, one by one, that's a long time. So can it be used that way?
I'm not sure about the exact limits of how many records can be updated at the same time. How many?
That lady can tell you. Yeah. She was saying that it can be set up. This is one of our people from Commvault. Yes, it can be set up to send out mass updates.
The other way you could do that would be to use a survey tool. You could send an emailing out and use a survey tool that would let them update. There's several different vendors that'll do that. And
that option.
yeah. So there's another mass update if you have to change everybody. We do it all the time. We change our salespeople around, or the ownership changes. The mass update and mass edit free thing from the App Exchange can be put on any list view. Anywhere you can see a list view that has the little check boxes to the side, you can use that to update en masse, like to reassign territories or add everyone to a certain vertical or something like that. So there's some great things there.
And I have to ask, what kind of population do you guys work with?
The military.
Oh, of
Bingo.
course.
Paul, you had mentioned about demand tools as a way to deduplicate data and ensure better quality. And then I think Kirsty, you mentioned the App Exchange apps.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just wondering, when does it make sense to you to look at one of those versus the other?
That's a really fantastic question. Start with the free and cheap, which happened to be the name of a session I did yesterday. Start with free and cheap first. And when you find it's not doing it anymore, it's like taking, penicillin. If you find that it cures the infection, that's fine, because that's $3. But if you need to move over to Augmentin, that's $127. So just start free and cheap.
A lot of the paid ones will also have the free trial period. I know that Demand Tools does, free 5 days or free week, something like that. You can do a lot of data cleansing in a week.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And bear in mind, as far as I know, none of us are connected to Demand Tools. It just happens to be a really good product.
It's a great tool.
Okay.
Just a quick question about after the Demand tool, but the self-update tool where you send out an email that we were just talking about a second ago. I've always been a little afraid to use that because I feel like there's some third-party tools not related to Salesforce that developed a bad reputation for
I think you can definitely reach out to some of the other customers on using our community site to see what their experiences have been. I don't know if you guys have...
We do it in sort of a limited fashion, and some of the sales reps use it more than others. It's sort of a personal preference thing. Some would rather give them a call. Some would rather do the stay in touch email. But we don't do it in bulk usually. Just it's really about the top customers that they're working with.
Yeah, and we use it exclusively for customers, because if I already have a business relationship with you, you're probably more likely to give me your updated address, whereas, if I don't know you.
Yep.
Good question.
I see your
Good
question. It
question.
makes sense. You don't want to spam your potential customers.
The rich bastards.
Please tell me you're a rich bastard. Please tell me you're
That's right.
Yes.
Too many people.
That's a really good point. If your data isn't clean to start with, you're going to be hitting them 3 times, dear K. Patel, dear Christy Patel, Kurdi Patel.
How many ways can you spell that?
Yes. Sorry.
Question. Do any of you use an address validator? And if so, is there one you recommend? We have complicated, our market has universities, and oftentimes
Mail stops and such.
Yeah.
We don't use an address validator now because we don't do a ton of direct mail for that. We're more concerned about some install locations once the gear's there. But I did see a partner in the App Exchange that does the address validator.
Yeah, same here. We don't do direct mail.
to normalize all of our addresses and run the hand tools here.
Which would be helpful.
You get a much higher match of address duplicates after you validate them before, so it seemed like a
Okay.
And I know that product does the Zip+4 and the standardized addresses, as well as a whole bunch of the carrier route and what longitude and latitude it's at. Yeah.
So strike iron is the data, the address validator.
Yes.
There's also some SQL code, I think, in the appendix here that does some basic address. It's not so much normalization, but it looks for bad addresses, so take a look at that.
All right.
Any other questions?
For the presentation, if you look at the slides afterwards. And also, if you guys do, want to touch base afterwards, I've got business cards here.
Me too.
Yeah, we're happy to talk to you.
I believe the presentation will be in the attendee portal that you can download. And then the notes are pretty set. So to raffle away the flip video camera, do you want to?
Did I put my card in? No. John Hay from Hewitt Associates. Yay.
Cool.
Come on down, John.
Yeah.
I'll go get it. I'll go get it. You can have Paul do the other one.
And then for the fleece,
We have Lisa Vieira from Armenian. Lisa?